and I have a really special guest today. He is part of the band called The Silvers. Mick Orton, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
I'm pretty excited to have you on the show today. And right before we got on air, I was telling you that my son Sebastian always plays live music for me. And so he's going to play a little tune while I'm finishing setting up the computer. Are you ready, Bass?
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sebastian. How are you? That's pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Doing okay.
Doing all right today? Yeah? That's good. All right. What'd you think, Mick?
All right, sound good.
Yeah, he's what, 18? He's been playing for
right.
he's been playing for since he was like 13. Yeah. 5 years. And
Yeah, I used to be 18 back.
didn't we all?
Yeah.
So, Mick, can you give us a little introduction, and then we're going to play a tune by the Silvers. Did you hear me?
Sorry.
I was saying, can you give us a little introduction about yourself for the audience, and then I'm gonna play a tune by the Silvers.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I kind of met you through Randall Bishop, who you interviewed a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
He does our animation for our animated videos. We have a lot of animated music videos, and we also have a little series that we're calling Silver Surf City. The band has gone through a few changes since we started back in 2016. So we have 4 14-song albums and 4 6 to 8 song EPs that we've released, and we're getting ready to release another one. Right now, the current lineup is Steve Farrak on the guitar, and if you can believe it, he also plays accordion. Dane Bedford-Pugh plays lead guitar, and then we got Carl Up the Grove on drums, and then me on bass and vocals. My songwriting partner, Tom Kelly, and I write all the songs so far, and he is originally in a group that I was in back in high school, so we stayed friends all this time, and we still write music together.
Oh man, that is so cool. You know, I love beach music. When I was growing up, I used to listen to Jimmy Buffett a lot. I was from Cincinnati, and we had like a big parrot head. Like he'd come up there all the time, and I liked the Beach Boys when I was growing up, and I like that kind of style of music. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't listen to it all the time. I do like the music, but it's one of those ones, especially like if you're going out to Tybee or to the beach itself, you're like, oh man, this is so cool. So I want to play, I right before we were talking about it, I was like, I don't really want to play any Christmas music, but I changed my mind. I'm gonna play "Lonely Little Christmas Tree" by the Silvers.
I'm a lonely little Christmas tree
Oh, why don't you please choose me? I know I am the smallest of the pines. Maybe I'm not so tall, but I have a heart, I'd give it all. Oh, please, take me over Christmas time. Look, here comes the family. Maybe they'll decide on me. They'd be so proud to put me on display. Set me on a window stand. If they decorate, I'll look so grand. But no, I can see they walked away. I'm so lonely all the time. The big trees all needle me. They tease me 'cause I'm pining for a home. Is there someone who wants me? Time is running out, I know. Christmas time is getting close. The rows of bigger trees are looking bare. They get chosen first, you see. Doesn't seem to be a place for me. Oh, please, won't you hear my Christmas prayer? So lonely all the time. The big trees all needle me. They pick on me for pining for a home. Is there someone who wants me? Suddenly I feel some tugs as little children give me hugs. Someone has bought me for a children's home. Finally I've got my wish. Nothing else can feel so fabulous as love like this at Christmas time. Yeah, as love like this at Christmas time.
Oh wow, Mick, that's the first time I've listened to that song, so that is pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You know what it reminds me of? It's like those Hallmark movies where, like, right after the the single mom has lost everything, and the guy that's in the town that's never left, and she left and came back because she had some kind of travesty happen. It's like that one part right there where she's just trying to figure everything out. She's kind of just confused, and she's starting to have feelings for the guy. That's the kind of song that they would play right then at that moment. They're like, I'm a lonely little Christmas tree.
Well, tell those music professionals to pick it up.
Yeah, you never know, because in Savannah we have a bunch of Hollywood folks and producers and stuff. I mean, I think that would be a great little song for that one beat for a movie.
No, thank you. Yeah, we
The
every year
Lost
since
moment.
2015 we've done a original Christmas song for our friends on the website. So we post it for free. This year we can't do that because it's being put on an album by WOAFM 99, who's they're in London.
Nice.
And they're doing a compilation album. So
wow.
That will be on that album.
Congratulations.
As well.
That's huge,
Thank
man.
you.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. I love supporting independent artists and creators. That's what I do with this show. I met Randy at Randall Bishop, everybody. I met him here in town in like 2014 at a convention when he first started doing his comic book. And Randy and I, we just, we've hit it off, and we've been in touch. We've stayed in touch, and he went to Germany, came back, and he's been a great guy. He's introduced me to so many different cool people that he's met. And, I love, people that are doing stuff like y'all, with the Silvers and trying to do, you're doing your thing. I mean, it's not just talking about it, you're doing it. It's pretty cool.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I met him through Ricky Zero, who was originally in the Silvers way back when we started the band, and then he Randall is doing right now. He and Juan Carlos are doing an animated video to go along with this song. So there would be something up on the Silvers. We have a YouTube channel called youtube.com / The Silvers Music. And if you go up there, you'll see all our music videos.
Nice.
And the animated music video for Christmas should come early December, somewhere around there.
Nice. So tell me more about yourself, Mick. Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Davenport, Iowa.
Nice.
Along the Mississippi River there on the east coast of Iowa. And, I grew up there, and I left as soon as I realized I could.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're like,
weather was
there's
just
a different place
not so good,
for me.
You know? Well, we toured the Midwest. I was in a band called Silver Laughter back in the 70s, and we toured the Midwest and Canada.
I'm starting to see a little theme here.
Yeah, we got tired of really snow, and the guitar player and I decided to leave the band and come out to California.
Okay.
So that's what happened.
So the Silver, what was it called? Silver what?
Silver Laughter, yeah.
Silver Laughter. Okay, so when I was a kid, that sounds so crazy, but when I was a kid, I had a character named Silver Leaf, and I always thought that like Silver Lightning or Silver like whatever was kind of just kind of a neat little thing.
Right.
I'm one of those
Silver
folks.
Laughter originally was in a poem by Lewis Carroll, Through the Looking Glass, I think it was. There's a line in there. I have not seen thy face nor heard thy silver laughter. And the band came up with that before I was in it. And then along the way, they lost their bass player and one of the lead vocalists. And so John Ludke, one of my good buddies from high school, invited me to join the band, and I did. And we toured around for about 6 years through the Midwest and Canada, and cut 2 albums that are now collector's items. And yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Nice. Everybody, you're listening today to the Adam Messer Show, and I'm your host, Adam Messer, and you're listening to us on WRUU, LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. So, Mick, excuse me.
Yes.
You grew up in Iowa. You decided to hit the road as soon as you could. And life happens, and you move on, and whatever. And then fast forward to you guys start doing the band, the Silvers. How did that come around and form?
Well, it was a little long road in between. When I moved out here, couldn't find a job, couldn't get a band, get together.
And when you say out here, where are you at now?
I'm in Northern California near San Francisco.
Okay, cool.
And so, yeah, we tried to put a new wave band together, and that lasted about 2 weeks.
I love new wave.
Then,
you were trying to do a new wave band for real?
New wave band first.
I love new wave, man. Like Blue Monday is one of my favorites.
Well, we had a lot of fun, but we just we rehearsed more than we played. And
I gotcha.
So what happened was I had to get a job. I got into computers and did a lot of computer work. And then in 2014, Silver Laughter was the band that I told you about. We were touring. Was inducted into the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for 2014.
No way.
Which meant and so we had to get together and play a concert. They had 20-minute concerts of all the bands that were inducted that year. And so I went back to Iowa, rehearsed with the guys for about a week, got some tunes together, a few originals, and one of our big things when we were on the road was a Beatles set. So we had this Beatles tribute that we did, where it's a medley of Beatles songs for an hour. And then while we played, on the left side of the stage was a big screen with film of the Beatles during that period where we were playing their music, and on the right side there were slides, a slideshow that would go on and on, all around the period that music we were playing for the Beatles. Then we would have them voice over, because they did a bunch of Christmas albums for their fans. I don't know if anybody is a big Beatles fan out there or not, but they would do talking, and so we clipped talking parts while we were changing instruments, and they would be talking, "Hi, this is John speaking to you with his voice," and stuff like that. And then while we're switching around, because I played piano, I would switch from bass to piano, and then the lead player would switch from guitar to bass, and then we would do some songs, and then we would switch back. So it was a lot of fun, but what happened was it got kind of overshadowed our original music, because we had 2 albums by that time, and we just decided that it was time to hang it up.
So the transition from Silver Laughter to the Silvers, just kind of, how did that flow through?
Yeah, well, it was a big space in between with few years. I'm sorry, you're right. That was the question, wasn't it?
No. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I was just wondering, because you said 2014 you did this little get together, and then
yeah.
But that was as
exactly.
the Silver Laughter reunion type thing, right?
That's where I was going, yeah. And so I got myself off track. So what happened was in 2014, we did the concert, and in the audience was Tom Kelly, who was my writing partner.
Okay.
And we had been in a band back in high school called Todd Beat Group. He was in the audience. We talked. We said, we should get a band together virtually and just record across the internet, because now we can do that. So Tom and I started writing some music, and he played guitar and did a little bit of vocals and some stuff. We got Ricky Zero. I don't know if you've had him on your show yet or not. But
Not yet.
He was doing guitars. He wrote a couple songs. And then we had Glenn Stone, who was the sound man for Silver Laughter, came and did drums. And so we were all over the place. So I had a guy, Ricky was in Atlanta. Tom was in Wisconsin, on one side of Wisconsin. Glenn, the drummer, was on another side of Wisconsin, and I was out here in California, and we would trade tracks back and forth across the internet. So that's how the Silvers got started, as a virtual band. We didn't play anywhere; we just did recordings.
What did you use, like Pro Tools, to compile everything, or what did you all use to? Because like if you're laying down a track and someone else is laying down a track and somebody else is laying down a track, and then you have to produce it, like what program were you all using for that?
Oh, well, the starting point would be me. I have a Tascam 8-track, DPO2 or DPO3, something like that, and I record a demo for the guys with harmonies and a drum track, drum machine track, so that we have a metronome to play to, and then I would send it to them, and they would play their parts to that, so we were all in the same time, and then we sent them to an engineer. I hate forgetting his name right now, but he was in South Carolina or North Carolina, and he would put everything together. I don't think he used Pro Tools, but he used something else to put everything together, mix and master. Yeah,
that's cool.
That's how we started.
I tell you what, it is amazing to me. Like I'm 44 and I was born in 76, and it's amazing to me in the last 20-25 years how the internet has changed everything. Being able to produce music back in the day, like, you had to you could only really do it in a studio, or, some people would record like in their band, the garage with like a recorder or something like that. But, recording equipment was expensive, and really wasn't, like software like there is today. And so it's pretty amazing. I think it's pretty cool. So how was that transition, like doing the producing this music? Because like you said that you put out a bunch of albums and EPs already. It sounds like you guys have been busy the last 4 or 5 years.
Right. Well, the first album, After the Laughter, was all done the way I just described it, where I would lay down a demo and then everybody would play to the demo. Then we did an EP, same way. We sent all the tracks though over to a guy in England, Stuart Epps. And he worked with Elton John, so he mixed and mastered everything for the second album. We didn't care for it, so we sent it back to the other guy and put out an EP, a 6-song EP. Then I contacted in California. I called the number for the record plant. I don't know if you're familiar with that at all. They used to do a bunch of big stars, and I ended up connecting up with a guy named Drew Youngs. And after that, he and I did most of the stuff together at his house. So we recorded everything, and he uses Pro Tools. So he and I did most of the stuff. Tom and I still write songs, but he did most of the mixing and mastering and recording. He did a lot of the instrumentation. We also, had the drummer playing, but we'd still import tracks and he would mix and master them.
I think that's pretty cool, especially like the fact that you guys are all doing this remotely for each other. So like it's kind of like a daisy chain. Like you start and then it goes to the next part and the next part and the next part, and it's all kind of just hinges on everybody doing their part, right? So like if somebody,
right.
how's the scheduling been like for that? I mean, like what's it like? Because I mean, this is one of the things we do on this show is we talk about kind of like the process and the nuts and bolts of like the creative stuff. So I know, like I just recently put out a book or an anthology, and I'm gonna be honest with you, working with some of the authors was like herding cats, just trying to get them to do anything, and it was like herding cats because they just they're just not wanting to do what they want to do. And so what was that like? Because I mean, you're obviously you've got this chunk of work, you're obviously doing the work. I mean, does everybody just kind of like is everybody like just really on it and they just love doing it? Or I mean, like how are you getting everybody to kind of just keep the flow going?
You couldn't do it if you didn't love doing it. I mean, that's kind of the point. First of the year is when I decided that I wanted to play live, and Drew decided he didn't want to. Tom's too far away in Wisconsin, and our drummer, Glenn, decided to hang it up. So I looked for local musicians. So what we did in the beginning of 2020, which has been a really interesting year, I put together a live band here. And so that's the band now consists of Steve Farrack, Dane Bedford-Pugh, who's from England, London actually, and then Carl Up the Grove is a drummer, and we play live and we rehearse live, and we just came out of the studio and recorded that Christmas song and 3 others.
Really?
Here locally, so we don't do the remote thing anymore.
Wow. So kind of back to the roots of in person and all that.
In the garage, yeah.
In the garage, nice.
And then COVID came along,
right,
took down all our places that we could play, which was the intent, was to get live and then go out and play live. And now we're stuck, so we decided to go in the studio and record a bunch of songs. We recorded 2 songs to start out with to see how it went. That was back February, March, something like that, right before the big COVID shutdown. And then just recently we went in and recorded 4 more, so including the Christmas song. So that's kind of where we are.
That's pretty cool. So you've had a really nice career with your music. You say you got into computer programming?
Well, a career means you make money. We didn't. We haven't done that. We haven't done that yet. Oh, there's my dog, Bo.
That's okay. Hey, Bo.
He's in the cartoons too. I don't know if you see a white dog in the cartoon. That's Bo.
That's cool. Yeah, that's. I agree with you. It's funny because I know, like we were talking about with doing that anthology. I had to change things around too. With the originally the anthology was going to come out in like May, and it wasn't ready, and so I decided to put it back until October, and
yes.
So we just had to roll with the punches this year, and I do like local events here where I host author events and stuff, and I do one called Books and Brews Savannah, where we actually it'd be cool if you live closer, because I'd be like, hey, come on and play for us. But we do a charity fundraiser. I host this charity fundraiser partnering with a local company called Southbound Brewing Company, and they've got like this big old like brewing. It's a microbrewery, but when I say microbrewery, it's like an old warehouse that they converted, and it's a really nice space. And we raise money for the local Ronald McDonald Charities of the Coastal Empire. And
nice.
Yeah, I love doing that. And this year's just been, we haven't been able to do that. And we did like a little virtual fundraiser on Facebook, but I think it raised about $100. Last year we raised like $500, and my goal was like to hit 1,000. But one of those things that we do, you just have to roll with the punches, and
sure.
and everybody is not the same. Like I was joking around about the authors, like trying to work with everybody because we had like 13 authors. It's like kind of like herding cats because you have some people that are really motivated, and then you have other people that they've been affected differently, and that they had different life happens, circumstances, and stuff like that. And then you get some people that just they're just whatever. So you got to roll the gambit.
Well, that's true. As you get older, the more and more stuff, family, friends.
Oh yeah.
Other stuff takes precedence.
Yeah.
And so it gets harder and harder to play music. But I spend at least an hour a day working on new songs.
Nice.
Working on the songs that we're working on for our live performance or recording. So right now I've got iTunes up, and I've got a list of about 14 songs that we're working on to play live with the new band. So there'll be all originals, and there'll be all songs that we've done. There's a couple that were thrown in that were kind of hits before the band was formed, and we'll be doing some of them too, but we're working on the new stuff first.
That's really cool. I think we should play another song then, and then we'll go into the station break. But let's play since we're kind of talking about this theme of like this year having to be be a little different and all. Why don't we play this Try a Little Kindness by the Silvers? How's that sound?
Okay.
All right, here we go. It's Try a Little Kindness by the Silvers.
We can make our world so much better. Time to get rid of all the sadness now. Shouldn't we try a little kindness? We could all use a bit of love somehow.
We should make the choice to be happy. Join us as we look far ahead. Don't wait, there is no time to waste now. Let's try some kindness instead.
Let's try and make this world much better. No one should have to live in misery. What if we tried a little kindness? Just think how wonderful our lives could be.
We should make the choice to be happy. Join us as we look far ahead. Don't wait, there is no time to waste now. Let's try some kindness instead.
Try a little kindness. It is what is needed now. Change your mind and free yourself today. We can change things if we would try now. Actions are what we all are measured by. Now we should try a little kindness. Show them how good it would be if we tried.
We should make the choice to be happy. Join us as we look far ahead. Don't wait, there is no time to waste now. Let's try some kindness instead.
Try a little kindness. It is what is needed now. Change your mind and free yourself today. Let's try and make this world much better. We can imagine our new history. Shouldn't we try a little kindness? Imagine how wonderful the world could be.
We should make the choice to be happy. Join us as we look far ahead. Don't wait, there is no time to waste now. Let's try some kindness instead.
This is WRUULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. This portion of WRUULP, Savannah Soundings programming, is made possible by listeners like you and Brighter Day Natural Foods. Brighter Day is celebrating its 40th year serving the Savannah community with produce, vitamins, and supplements, and a deli and juice bar. Brighter Day is located at 1102 Bull Street at the south end of Forsyth Park. More information available at 912-236-4703 or brighterdayfoods.com.
What does it mean when we say that WRUU is a community radio station? It doesn't just mean that we invite the community to create programming, and it doesn't just mean that we are a voice for the community. It also means that we are counting on the community to keep us going, and you are the community. Almost all of our modest budget comes from small annual or monthly donations from listeners like you. You get to enjoy our community-focused programming because many others have stepped forward to do their part. Now do your part by joining our community of listener donors. Go to WRUU.org right now and make a one-time or monthly donation, and thank you for supporting Savannah's community radio station, 107.5 FM.
St. Joseph's Candler Health System offers Johnny's Bridges to Hope program, a support group for families affected by mental illness, on the second Monday of each month. Group meetings are held from 3 to 4 p.m. at Candler Hospital. A licensed clinical social worker will meet with families seeking support in dealing with a mentally ill family member. More information is available at 912-819-8498.
All right, and welcome back, everybody. Thank you for listening to those important station announcements. This is the Adam Messer Show, and I'm your host, Adam Messer, and my special guest today is Mick Orton from the Silvers. So thanks, Mick, for being here with us today.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, so right before the break, we played one of your other new songs, Try a Little Kindness by the Silvers. And I think that's a good, it's a good idea, that people should try to be a little kinder, What was the inspiration for that? And, how did it, kind of come to fruition as a song?
Well, since we started doing the cartoon series, Silver Surf City, which is kind of an anti-bullying campaign that we do, and those we have 4 episodes that are anti-bullying, and they have dialogue and then parts of the songs. So we try to keep everything positive, and so I don't know, the song Try a Little Kindness just came to me one day, and I worked on it and did the demo, and then Carl heard it, our drummer. He says, let's learn that one. So kind of it was his impetus, because I wasn't really crazy about the song and the chord changes. And it really took putting the band, all the parts together to really get my interest. So once we got going on it, it took a lot of work. It was a hard song to coordinate with all the parts. And finally we came up with a version that we really liked. And now I really like the song. So it's kind of, but the message is one that, Carl said, well, we need to try a little kindness. There's a lot of strife and anxiety out there, and we really need to put out a positive message. So that's kind of where that came from.
Yeah, that is true. I think a lot of people have felt angst this year. A lot of changes, a lot of unwanted change. That people have been going through, especially with the pandemic. I mean, a lot of people have lost their jobs and their homes and loved ones. I mean, like that's the most important thing is the folks that have passed away. And I think it's a good message to put out there. To be kind and to choose to be kind, to have a little more patience maybe, because, honestly, I'll be honest with it, lately it seems like there's been a lot of jerks. Sometimes it's hard to, to bite your tongue.
Yeah. So the message is to just try to be kinder,
Yeah.
We always try to put a positive message of sorts into most of our songs. Occasionally we write one that is kind of down and dirty, but mostly because we're writing for kids' cartoon series, that we really wanted to be sure that we stayed positive and upbeat.
Yeah. it's like this. Like I have written a couple of children's books, but I also write horror, and I don't want the two to mix. Like actually, it's so crazy. My mom called me this morning because one of our authors, his name's Bobby Nash, and he's been a regular on the show. He's friends with Brandy as well, talking about circle of life here. And the story is called Dante's Tenth, and it's a horror story. And so I sent her a link, and I said, "Hey, this isn't out there, but I wanted you to check it out," because I did the video production work on it. Bobby sent me like his video of him doing the reading or whatever, and she's like, "Well, I was," she was calling all concerned, and I was like, "What is going on? Why? I wonder why she's upset." And I was like, "Something's wrong," and she's like, "No, I just was watching this video, and I was concerned because there was something that he said," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she didn't like some of the language. It was a little vulgar, and I was like, "It's a horror story, it's not a Hallmark movie." and she's like, "Well, I just didn't like it." I was like, "I get that. That's like you're not gonna be the kind of audience that's gonna like that." But it's like somebody want to watch like a 80s action movie versus somebody who likes a rom-com. I mean, they're gonna be different audiences. So
I understand.
Yeah, but like when I do the children's stuff, like I wrote this one called Bill the Lone Neck Dragon, and I've done some presentations at some schools and stuff, and it's just like with this radio show, I want to keep the show clean, we're FCC regulated station, so we can't curse anyway, but I don't talk about adult themed materials, I don't talk about politics, I don't talk about religion, just because of my audience. I don't want to cross that line with them. And I try to let people know, hey, this is a horror story. It's not gonna be for everybody,
Yeah.
Or if I put
I understand.
if the like a comic or something like that, you put it out there and you're like, hey, this is the intended audience, So one of the ones I kind of look at as like a neat one is that guy R.L. Stine, who's written a lot of like kids horror books. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I'm not up on that. Sorry.
Well, he's written a lot of little horror books, whatever. He's real popular or whatever, but. It's the same kind of thing, like I don't know what kind of stuff you used to read or like to read, but it's the same thing with music. You have different tastes. Some people like beach music and some people don't. Some people cringe when they hear heavy metal, and other people just love it. So
Right. Well, we were in Puerto Vallarta. Let's see, when was it? January or February? And before the COVID thing hit, obviously. And we were down there with a bunch of people that were all related. And some of them liked Southern rock, and some of them liked, hard rock, and some of them liked... And so we put on iTunes. We're on iTunes, Silvers are, and put on our music, and everybody seemed to really like it. So
it's
we
like
kind of found
a mix.
A common place where we could all meet and say, that's nice music.
Yeah. It's like when I write articles for the paper, I tell people, like, I don't do the hard news. I like to call it popcorn, because it's light and fluffy and everybody likes it. And that's what I think of when I think of beach music. It's like popcorn music. It's light and easy, and it's just kind of relaxing. It's fun,
Right. Well, we try to keep it up. Like I say, we have a couple of minor key songs that we use, but mostly we're pretty happy guys.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. What keeps you going? Like you said earlier, you said if to do a career, you have to make money. If you're putting all this
energy drinks are a key.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Staying in shape, getting exercise. Walking. What's funny is I play a lot of golf. I don't play it well, so I play a lot of golf. Is what I'm saying. I'm not hitting the ball well all the time. So I always say I get my money's worth, right?
Yeah.
If people at golf know what I'm talking about.
Does that mean you take a lot of shots and you hack away at the ball?
Yeah, I'm out on the golf course, and sometimes a song will come to me in my head. I have to pull out my phone and record it while I'm walking or riding so that I don't forget it when I get home.
Yeah.
So that's how a couple songs came to me. But staying in shape, making sure music is a priority, And I know the other stuff comes along, and you get people that get sick, and people that, family, friends, whatever, stuff happens. It just happens. Life happens.
Right.
But if music is foremost in your thoughts, like it is in mine, then it seems to make a place for itself, I guess.
Let me ask you this, Mick. Maybe you feel the same way. I don't know, but because I write stories, music is storytelling. That's what music is to me. It's a story. You just said sometimes you're going to be out and you might get like a song that would hit you like that. When you get that little flash of inspiration and you get back home, do you work on it, or do you like put it away, or what do you do with it?
It depends. It depends. Sometimes I come back to it the same day. Sometimes I come back to it a couple of days later. It just really depends. And what's funny, because you're talking about a lot of the messages that we write. I have to give Tom Kelly, my writing partner, a lot of credit for coming up with ways to tell the story. In other words, I might come up with a tune and have an idea for the title and the idea where the song is going. But he really, like the Christmas song, for example, he used a couple puns. He wanted to put a lot more puns in there, and I had to kind of rein him in. But pining for the pines. What was the other one?
Poor Tom was pining away to put more puns in the song.
Yeah, he wanted to put more puns in, branch out and leaf and stuff. And so I said, well, let's rein it in a little bit. But he's a funny guy.
He wanted to make the song bark a little bit more.
Yeah, well, we have a good time writing, so it's
shout out to you, Tom. Good job. I love puns. There was a series called Xanth Novels by Piers Anthony, and it was It was a sci-fi fantasy type thing, and it was chock full of puns. And I love a good pun.
Yeah, the problem with starting to pun, though, is you can't quit. You know what I mean? It's like you just keep going and going and going, and everybody's trying to out-pun everybody else. It's habit forming. But it is fun. Yeah.
It is. It's one of those. It is one of those habits. It can be funny and there is a line where it's like, that's too much.
You go, that's enough. Okay, new subject. Yes.
Yeah, you got to be able to see the trees from the forest.
You're back on the puns, huh?
I never left. What are you talking about, Mick?
You're branching out.
I never left.
Okay.
I'm not like a leaf. Anyway, I like cheesy little puns, I like dad jokes and stuff like that. That kind of thing. My son's sitting right across from me just shaking his head. He's like, no, Dad, no.
Yeah, I know. I know. They do that. Yeah.
Oh, man. Speaking of my son, it's a quarter of an hour. You want to play some more, Bass? Yes, it is quarter of the hour, not 3/4 into the hour. Well, here's Sebastian Messer playing a little bit more live music, and I'm gonna. Well, I can't think of a good pun to say, so I'm just gonna be quiet. Dude, thank you. That was awesome, Bass. You know, Mick, I was kind of at a loss for words to say. I had no puns to play, but there is a song that I want to share today, and it's called "Nothing Left to Say" by the Silvers.
All right.
When I look into for so long, always seem to get it wrong. Now we know we don't need to search for true love. It comes when you least expect it to. That's why all the words escape me. Speechless is the way you made me, 'cause you took my breath away. There's nothing left to say. All our friends say that we're crazy, think that we're not meant to be. All I know is things were hazy till you put your spell on me. My guess is they have a bit of jealousy, 'cause they don't have true love by their side. So we've chosen not to hear them, don't want us to be so near them. Let's tell them to walk away, there's nothing left to say. That's the way it has to be, until all of them can see all the love we have that's in our hearts. And now it's just me and you, knowing what we always knew. Our love will go on and on, feels so right it can't be wrong.
Can't be wrong now.
True love found us when we least expected it. Took the chance to love and held on tight. Love you in so many ways, words fail so I'll show you every day. You take my breath away, there's nothing left to say. There's nothing left to say. There's nothing left to say.
Oh, that's a very nice song.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's Dane singing that. What I didn't mention on the Try a Little Kindness, that was Steve singing the verses, and then I sang the refrains.
Nice.
But on this one, Dane took lead vocal on.
Nice. That is pretty swell. I like that.
Pretty hopping, huh?
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. When I was a kid, and I used to hate it as a kid because they would not listen to anything else. My parents would play the oldies all the time, and I hated listening to that because I just get so sick of hearing the same 5 popcorn music songs. But as an adult, I like the little throwback to it, and I like that vibe. But I like beach music. Like, I'm not saying I like necessarily the old popcorn type rock, but I do love beach music, and it's crazy because like when I was a kid in the 80s, we were listening to stuff from the 50s and 60s. You know, they call those the oldies, which I don't know why they call it oldies now. They got stations that say, greatest hits from the 80s, 90s, and more. And I'm like, dude, like 1980 was 40 years ago. 40 years, I'm like I was 4.
Yeah, I know. It slips away so fast. Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking back when I was a kid. It was like, they called that the oldies, and it was like 20, maybe 20 years. I think like the 90s was like, 10 years ago, and it's like 30 years ago.
No,
I'm like, oh my gosh. But that's one thing I think though about music, that if it's a good style of music, it will persist. It'll have, an audience. It'll have a staying power. And obviously, these are new songs and this is new music, but the style has been around for a long time. And I think people can really appreciate, hearing something new that's in a style that they like. I know I do.
Well, we hope so. You know, one of our goals we were hoping was to get kids interested in playing in bands again.
Oh, that
When
would
we
be so
grew up,
awesome.
everybody was in a band, right? The guy
Yeah.
that made the hot dogs at the Reefy's Drive-In. Everybody played.
Trying to give everybody his
music,
8-track.
and so,
He's like, hey, listen to my
yeah,
tape.
well, even before that, you got the vinyl, which is coming back.
Yeah.
But we're hoping that we can inspire kids to start playing music again instead of doing other stuff.
Bass. I want to get Bass on this one because, like, do you hear what Mick's saying about the kids playing? So, like, okay, so Bass, when he was like 13, he was all bent on getting a guitar, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We got about 5 minutes. Why don't you tell this story, Bass? Because I hardly ever get Bass on the radio. He hardly ever wanted to talk on it, but like you got Mick right here, and you guys are musicians. You can talk music.
All right, so what kind of sparked it is hearing the solo off of the Van Halen song "Jump," and hearing the guitar solo off of that, and I wanted to be like the next little Eddie Van Halen. So for a while, we had some instruments growing up. Nobody really ever played them, so I took out one of the older instruments we had, and I was playing that. And then one day, my dad's just like, let's go to the pawn shop and find you like a starter guitar. And ended up working there for like a year.
Well, that guitar was what kind of guitar was it? Was like black and white
Washburn, a Lion, Lyon,
and they had like this
Was
deal.
it acoustic?
It was an electric.
Yeah. Well, they had this deal like for $100 you got the guitar and the amp.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And
that's how I started. My sister says, you can do Paul McCartney. Why don't you go buy this Target is like a Target store back in Davenport that had everything in it, right? And they had a special on guitar and amp, and you got it, for like $10 or something,
Yeah. And it's cool. I love the fact that you're trying to get kids excited about it because, like, Bass is 18. He's been playing since he was 13. And there's some of his other friends in school, like, they actually had a guitar class in school, but, like, Sebastian's, like, one of the few people that have actually stuck it out.
People.
You know?
It's really hard to find people my age to commit to it.
Yeah.
Well, we have a saying in music, cream rises to the top. And what the fact is that not everybody is meant to play. A lot of people start out and they just don't put the time in. There's a guy, Malcolm Gladwell, he says 10,000 hours is what it takes to become, really good at what you're doing. So
we love Malcolm Gladwell. Yeah, I tell you what, one of the things I'm big into is self-development and leadership, Mick. And I'm so happy that he brought that up because that is, mentored practice makes perfect, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, we've got like a couple minutes left of the show, Mick. Where can people find about more information about the Silvers, your website, YouTube, and that kind of stuff?
Okay. Our website is www.thesilversmusic.com. So it's silvers, plural, music.com. And all our handles for Facebook, Twitter, all our other YouTube are all / The Silvers Music. So everything's The Silvers Music to make it all consistent. You don't have to have a big brain to remember all this different.
That's wonderful.
Handles.
It's so what's so crazy. It's so hard to get.
Music.
It's so hard to get the name
sorry?
It's so hard to get a name like all the way across everything, and that's so cool that you got The Silvers Music for all your social. Even my social media stuff is like it's up and down. Trying to get things together.
Well, I understand. I have to thank Ricky Zero for that because way back when we started it out, he said we should stick with one name, and it made sense. So we did that.
Nice.
But, I was going to go The Real Silvers on one, and Silvers Music on one, and The Silvers on one, and he said, let's make it all the same so that people don't have to remember a whole bunch of different names. So
that's clever. That's really clever. Okay, so Mick, thank you for being here for this first hour. We're going to come back in about 5 minutes, everybody. Mick is going to be with us on the second hour, and we're going to play some more of the Silvers music. And thanks for being...
not again. He's not coming back again, is he?
Oh, man. I hope you're having a good time.
I am.
Awesome. All right, everybody, stay tuned. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.